What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. I know, where have I been? Where have I been? Well, for those of you that have been following me on Twitter, which I highly suggest that everyone that follows me on YouTube, please follow me on Twitter. It's at the Crypto Zombie, because I do sometimes attend these conferences, and unfortunately sometimes it's somewhat difficult for me to get content out, especially with some of the Wi-Fi. For example, this video right here from QLC Chain, I put that out the day that I got in San Jose. It took me 2.5 hours to upload. So yeah, it's really difficult when you're on the go to stay up with media and coverage and YouTube. But that being said, guys, I'm back officially. I don't have any plans on going anywhere anytime soon. So obviously I do know that the markets have taken a little bit of a dip since I've been gone. But guys, let's be real. Is there a day where the market isn't taking a dip? So, there was like kind of this joke where it was, we used to ask when Lambo, and now we're asking like when limbo, like how low can you go, right? So what did I miss while I was gone? I mean, basically with the exception of the market just taking even a bigger tank than before I left, we did have that, reverse ban on cryptocurrency ads from Facebook. Now, they are still not cool with ICOs. They're okay with cryptocurrency ads as long as they don't violate the regular rules of Facebook ads, but they're kind of not cool with ICOs currently due to all of the scams. And from what I'm aware of, the whole thing about them acquiring it is a rumor. I don't think Facebook is going to buy Coinbase. I think that's just a rumor. Outside of that, I don't really think there's much that I missed while I was gone. So I did want to have a look at kind of the Bitcoin charts over here. And one of the things that I noticed was if we look a year ago, we still find that we're up. And if we look at last January, Bitcoin was around, it was between like $1,200 and $1,800, right? So you're still looking at over a 4x gain over the course of a year. Now, obviously for people that bought here, yes, I am guilty myself. We're a little salty. We're feeling like this is a scam. This sucks, right? But if you talk to the OGs, the guys that have been in Bitcoin for years, people calling Bitcoin a bear market, at 5,000 even, it's kind of laughable when you consider how far it's come. And the truth is that Bitcoin is indestructible. So I'm going to kind of refresh this, have a look. So we're sitting at $234 billion. There was this insane drop off, as you guys can see that happened right here. Everything was affected. I remember I was at the conference, I'm checking my Blockfolio, and all of a sudden I was just like, what just happened? So we are in this together. We're experiencing this together. If we have a little bit of what's going up in the market, currently ETHOS actually had a pretty good run this morning, up 20%. So there was this tweet that came out. They said, hard to believe it's been a year. We can't wait for this next lap around the sun. Stay tuned for a big announcement coming tomorrow. Now, this came out earlier today. So I don't know what this announcement is. We'll see. Could it be out by the time this video comes out? It probably won't be, but it could be. The other thing, too, is I had a look over at Shingo Levine, and he's the CEO of ETHOS, and he had this tweet that said, nice view of the New York Stock Exchange, partner meetings in New York. Guess what happens when you are a safe and compliant crypto company? So we know that we've kind of secretly been rooting for ETHOS in the back, right? We want this universal wallet. We want this fiat gateway. We want it to be easier. I was taking Uber rides because that's like my new thing now. I just take Ubers everywhere. And I was taking them to the convention center, to the hotel. There were a couple after parties. Really cool, by the way. I actually got to hang out with Hongfei. Well, I'll talk about that another time. But we realized that it's difficult, and I was talking to this Uber driver, and he was telling me, like, yes, I think Bitcoin is the future, I think cryptocurrencies are the future, but they're still complicated. He's like, first I gotta set up my Coinbase, then I gotta send it to GDAX, which you don't actually have to do that, but if you want to not pay fees, it kind of helps. Then he's like, you guys know the drill, you go to Binance, you get the wallet. It's a lot of steps for the average person. Most people are just used to getting their paycheck, right? Get a little piece of paper, take that little piece of paper, give it to the bank, boom, there's my money. That's it. People are not used to being their own banks, and it's difficult, and it still has a long way to go for adoption. So one of the things I wanted to point out too is you are seeing Bitcoin dominance increase. We had a little bit of a dip right here where it pulled back to like around 37%, but now we're up around 43%. So what does that mean? Well, it means that your alts are getting hit harder. So, we can have a look here. You're not going to count Tether because Tether's a completely different animal. So Bitcoin is down 3%, right? What's everything else down? Just go down the list. 5, 6, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7. Tether doesn't count. 5, 9, 9, 7. Okay, Dash is actually doing pretty well today. But so what I'm saying is when Bitcoin gets hit, everything else gets hit a little harder. So I do want to remind you guys, however, when you do look at these other third world countries, for example, I always use Venezuela for an example because it's just a really good use case. You are seeing that the Venezuelan bolivar over the last 3 months has had a 43,000% inflation rate. So when you consider what's happened to Bitcoin, it's still a better alternative than some of these other currencies, right? So you're still seeing that as well. One thing I wanted to also point out was I came over to this website, How Much, and they had a visualization of all of the horrific Bitcoin crashes. So they kind of go in to explain a little bit about how this has happened. It's a thing that we're very used to, although because Bitcoin got so big so fast, there's a lot more people in the space right now. You know, it used to just be like, you know, the geeks and the nerds and the libertarians, right? Now it's everybody. Like, we're all looking at it. So it seems a lot more severe. One of the interesting thing is they'd actually talk about how long it lasted from the all-time lows. So I think the worst was November 30th, 2013. Okay, that was down 87%, and that lasted 411 days. I think that was the worst. If you look at the rest of these, 5 days, 14 days, 35 days, 3 days, 16 days, 1 day. So here we go, December 17th, 2017, down 70% from the all-time high. The question is, how long will this last? I think that's a question that we're all asking. I'm not sure 100% that this episode, I wanted to design it to talk about price. I'm actually really not interested in price lately, I have to say. And the reason is because I think that the more you become interested in price, the less you become interested in the tech. And when that happens, you're going to see the greed destroy the markets. So I've decided that from here on out, I want to take more of an objective route. Not that I don't do that already, but I really don't want to focus on price. I want to focus on technology. I want to focus on innovation. And I want to focus on the tech that's actually changing things, that's actually disrupting the space, that's usable, that's something that you can onboard, that everyday people can use, okay? I don't care about these speculative things anymore, which unfortunately is 99.9% of the markets. So if we talk about speculative investments, it's going to be objectively, here's the facts, here's what we know, here's the CEO, here's the details, here's what they plan to do, here's the MVP, can I use it? Right? So that's what I want to focus on moving forward. I want us to find those unicorns, essentially, because there are so many things right now in crypto that are happening in the market. There's so many coins, right? What do we have? 1,597 tokens, right? Or coins, tokens, whatever they are. That's a lot, guys. They're not all going to survive. I do think that this is actually becoming an official bubble at this point. I mean, it pretty much is, right? We saw people throwing money into things that they didn't understand. So I'm going to move on a little bit more. So I just want to kind of talk about where I was, what I did. If I'm rambling, I don't know, guys. It's been 3 days. I miss you. I love you. I haven't had an opportunity to make a video, so there's a lot that I want to cover today. And I will be doing some live streams later. We'll get into that. So, you know, I was at the Blockchain Connect conference, which I have to say, this was hands down my favorite conference I've ever been to. Hands down my favorite conference I've ever been to. It was just really great. There were so many people there. I got to meet up with so many friends of mine. I got to talk to some really great projects, and I got some really awesome insights into how people are looking at crypto outside of just the speculative masses, right? Talking to developers, talking to enthusiasts, also talking to investors. Where are investors putting their money? That's something that's kind of interesting to me as well. I mean, you know, we're putting, you know, $100 here, $200 here. You're looking at guys coming in with millions of dollars. What are they buying? That was really intriguing to me. So I had a lot of opportunity to talk to people and see really where they were valuing the tech and where they saw that it was going to go from this point forward. So if you guys were following me, I had a great opportunity to meet up with so many friends of mine. So obviously this is me, Blockchain Brad, Chico Crypto, OGs, I love them. We're taking a picture with Fei Li from Elastos, which in my opinion is one of the projects that I think if this thing ever crashes, I think Elastos is here to stay. Personal opinion, not financial advice. I'm personally invested. I put my money where my mouth is. But anyway, great time hanging out with some good friends. We also got to meet up with, Wei Wei over at D-Chain. That was really fun as well. Captain Crypto! Yeah, from Cryptonauts. Nathan was hanging out. Then I posted, there was actually a really big announcement from High Performance Blockchain, which we'll get into. Crypto Candor, amazing Elastos coverage. Also, I have to say, this for me, right here, I got to meet not only Hongfei, but Jun Lee from Ontology and Neo in the same room. And then I ended up going to a party with these guys afterwards. So for me, this was like meeting, I don't even know. Imagine whoever it is that you consider to be the biggest all-stars of whatever it is. For me, these guys are living legends, and it was really awesome. And it was actually Hongfei's birthday, which was really cool, and we got to celebrate. And I'm actually going to drop a little bit of a snippet so you guys can actually check it out. This is real insider video footage right here, okay, guys? Not everybody got to hang out for Hongfei's birthday.
One, two, three. 他妈人生赢家，我操！大家把它分了吧。
So that was really awesome. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, it was really cool to celebrate Hongfei's birthday. And one of the things that I have to say for everybody out there is understand that for me, I'm very into crypto. So when I hang out with friends, when I kind of try to take my mind away from crypto, unfortunately, I'm still in crypto. But I always encourage people to go out, enjoy yourself. It's a beautiful day in New York right now. I don't know how it is where you guys are at, but definitely go out, have a good time, talk to friends. My friends are in crypto, so I can't get away from this thing. Today's Friday, for those of you that are dollar cost averaging. All right, there you go, guys. But I do encourage everybody to just go out, have a good time. Here's actually another picture that Quantalis has put out this morning. This is the Coin Crunch crew, Blockchain Brad. Windrow was there as well. Really, really awesome to meet him. He's like the head researcher over at Coin Crunch. So there's a lot of people that are still in the space. They're still doing things, okay? It's not going away. I'm not worried about it. And the funny thing is when you go to these conferences and you talk to people, they're not worried about Bitcoin at all. No one's worried about Bitcoin, which is hilarious. Everyone's like, Bitcoin's going to be fine. I mean, Bitcoin has died, probably like 320 times at this point. It's fine. We're doing fine. But we're really worried about this. We're worried about all of this, okay? We're worried about these projects being able to deliver on what they say that they're going to do, which that is something we're just going to have to see over time. So your best bet right now, not financial advice, is to align yourself with the projects that you truly believe in, which I know you hear 100 times, but honestly, I don't think that now is like the time for quick flips. I don't think a bear market is a time for that. I think a bear market is a time to align yourself with the projects that you fully believe in, that you see have a future, that you see are actually trying to disrupt the space. So enough about that. We've been talking about this. There's no reason to make this any more of a downer. Let's talk about adoption. Let's talk about some of the good things. Let's talk about some coins. Let's talk about what's going on. So you do have Binance. They had that little bit of a, get ready, whatever that tweet was that CZ put out, right? So essentially they are launching a fiat crypto exchange in Uganda. So this is the first step towards mass adoption for Binance. This is what we need. This is what I spoke earlier about ETHOS. You have that fiat gateway. You don't want this thing to be so complex that the average person says, screw it, I don't feel like figuring out how to do it. So you have Binance doing that as well. Here was their official statement that they made. The one thing that I thought was really cool was that they're saying that as appreciation for the ongoing support from our users, we will provide Binance Uganda users with a month of zero trading fees once trading comes online. The opening of trading will be announced at a later time. So that's really awesome as well. Let's talk about some more really cool adoption in the space. So you have Japan's Line. So you guys know Line is literally the most popular chat app. It has over 200 million users worldwide. So they are launching their own cryptocurrency exchange with over 30 cryptocurrencies right out of the gate. That is awesome news as well. Let's also talk about these big guys, these big players, right? So you have eBay and Foxconn joining the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, right? So Foxconn, I'm just going to kind of give you a brief overview. They're a large-scale manufacturer for corporations like Apple, Microsoft, and Nintendo. So they could definitely use blockchains like Ethereum, even in things, for example, like supply chain logistics. You guys know I've always been a huge proponent of that. So this would greatly streamline their management. Foxconn has recently been subject to accusations about its working conditions as well, and they feel that using a blockchain would promote transparency. Also, eBay similarly could use blockchains in promoting transparency in customer-to-customer transactions. Consensus systems like Ethereum could also greatly help eBay's infrastructure, as eBay is a sort of middleman for P2P transactions. Clearly, I use eBay. I know. I'm not happy with the fees that they charge, but what are you going to do, guys? And of course, there's always the albeit highly unlikely possibility that eBay might accept cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and Bitcoin in the future as payment options. So that's just more adoption as well. You also have South Korea looking to maybe change their stance against ICOs, and then there's this huge article about them potentially becoming a block haven, which I'll leave for you guys. I honestly don't have enough time to go into all the news today. There's so much stuff I'm trying to cover. I got a rapid fire today because I've been out for 3 days. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Brave. So they've introduced a beta for private tabs with Tor. I don't know if you guys have ever used Tor. I've tried it. Kind of sucks. It's kind of slow. Not a fan of it, okay? But for people that need to have this privacy, especially in these countries that are prohibiting them, there's firewalls. I'm not going to name all these places, right? So this could be a good thing as well. So if we scroll down here and we have a little bit of look at what's going on with this, essentially, the what is going on with my highlight tool? Say, guys, told you guys, the tech is not up. The tech is not where we need it to be. So, private tabs with Tor improve user privacy in several ways. It makes it more difficult for anyone in the path of the user's internet connection, ISPs, employers, or guest Wi-Fi providers, such as coffee shops or hotels. Because let's be real, guys, when you're joining a public network, they're pretty much able to get in there and do whatever they want, right? So to track which websites a user visits. Also, web destinations can no longer easily identify or track a user arriving via Brave's private tabs with Tor by means of their IP address. Very, very, very interesting. And obviously, they're going to be working with DuckDuckGo because, you know, they're like the most private search engine, basically. So that was pretty good news coming out of that camp. I did want to announce earlier, I kind of scrolled over it in my Twitter. So High Performance Blockchain has this huge announcement. They have a lot going on lately. They're one of the projects that I've actually been really looking at because I think that these pie in the sky crypto promises and dreams of all this and that, I think we're going to have to start looking towards hardware solutions. Personally, just being real here, I don't know that we're ever going to be able to achieve the transactions per second that we really think we're going to reach without hardware. So I did want to say that they have had a bunch of strategic investments. Over 20,000 ETH by OK Capital, Blockwater Capital, 8 BTC. I'm not going to go and read every single one. So yeah, they're looking to build the community, and they have a lot going on. They had their node plan that was recently released, and it unveiled the hybrid election plus invitation node mechanism. A lot coming out of High Performance Blockchain as well. I will keep you guys up to date on everything. Deepbrain Chain. They were also at Blockchain Connect conference. I had a really great time. I got to talk to everybody at the booth. It was super fun. So they say that they just received the Best Future Growth Award at the Global AI and Robotics Conference in Shenzhen, China. Their CEO, Feng He, will be speaking at the conference on July 1st, which is this Sunday. So for anybody that is able to attend, maybe they'll have a live stream. That's really awesome news. Also, big news coming out of Effect.AI. So you guys know I actually I did a review on them a while ago, per viewer request I might add, so there was interest in this. Now they have released their private beta of what they call the revolutionary microtask platform, Effect Force, which is live, by the way. Now this is the first article that came out, but the one that I was really looking at was this recent one, where they're basically looking to directly take on Amazon Mechanical Turk. So, looking into some of their reasons, they say that the lack of competition enables Amazon to charge companies using its platform fees of up to 40%. 40% is insane, okay? I'm just going to say that right out the bat. So, scrolling down here, Effect.AI also recognizes the potential of Effect Force towards the 39% of people who don't have access to the traditional banking system. To that end, Effect.AI introduces the Effect Force Impact Hubs. They've already established partnerships with big names in the industry. They have Lobster Media. They've also partnered with Civic. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with them. But what interested me was the CEO. He had this to say. He said there's so many reasons to choose Effect Force over Amazon's Mechanical Turk, outside of the insane prices, might I add. That change is inevitable. By virtue of its trustless blockchain-based foundation, Effect Force is not only faster, cheaper, better paying, more accurate, not restricted by nationality, and not owned by anyone, but at the same time, guys, it also empowers people to basically control their own data. And any company that chooses to use Effect Force will not only help itself, but will quite literally also help make the world a better place by doing so. So I just wanted to give a little bit of shout out to them as well. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about IOTX. IOTX, they were also at the event. So they do have a lot of news that kind of came out. So they have codename STRIVE, right? So this is the testnet alpha. They do have a video here. So why STRIVE? Well, I think this is really cool. So basically they've been naming, first they had Stone Van. I think that's what it was, right? So they're kind of naming these after famous cryptographers. So this guy right here, you have Ronald Lynn Rivest, right? So it's R-I-V-E-S-T. So basically, if you guys see what they did here, they just rearranged the letters. So S-T-R-I-V-E. So they made Strive out of his name. Really clever. I've seen Cardano kind of doing things like that as well with their choices. So in their first code release, you had Stonevan. They said, we introduced blockchain-based features such as transaction block handling, gossip protocol over P2P network, pluggable consensus framework, and initial remote procedures called RPC support. Over the past 2 months, the IoTeX technology team has made amazing progress in not only enhancing the Stonevan code, but also adding many new in-house features for Strive, including full implementation of their optimized elliptical curve cryptography, or ECC, library, and their role DPoS mechanism as well. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So you can kind of see right here, here's a little bit of the differences between the two. And also, if you stroll down here, they say that one of the things that, well, actually, let me talk. One of the things about IoTeX that's really cool to me is that they're a blockchain that decided to build themselves absolutely from scratch. So they talk about this common trade-off that Vitalik has spoke about as well, which is the trade-off triangle, where he says that a public blockchain can have two of the following three components. You have security, scalability, and decentralization of block production. Usually, two of these are really strong, one of these are really weak. So, IoTeX is trying to look at this and figure out what's going on. They say IoTex's upfront design decision must not only find the appropriate balance of security, scalability, and decentralization, but must also ensure that privacy and interoperability are prioritized. And I know that privacy is huge for them. So they're also looking at things such as key innovations with lightweight private preserving techniques, their role DPoS mechanism, and their blockchain in blockchain architecture. So when you have chains inside of chains, by default, they are interoperable. But then you come here, and the one thing that I wanted to point out, they also have the IOTeX Explorer that came out as well. Kind of looks like this right here. You guys, I'm sure you're familiar with Explorers and stuff like that. But the one thing I wanted to kind of point out was they admit that sometimes you do have to kind of have these trades on and off. And I actually had an opportunity to do an interview with these guys, and they were very transparent, very open. I asked them questions about why they chose to only do a public sale, their issue with getting listed on Binance, excuse me, and the effects after that. A lot of people were saying, oh, this is like the new scammy Chinese ICO model. So we had an opportunity to sit down and really just dive deep into that. And you could see right here, privacy preserving techniques, scalability, reductions in transactions per second, right? So unfortunately, trying to increase safety does decrease that ability to have transactions per second. We've seen a lot of projects come out. They're, doing a lot of different things. You've seen Block Lattice, you've seen Nano. And we've always said that, Nano is potentially the perfect cryptocurrency. It's feeless, right? No transaction fees, and it's instant. But, there may be some security vulnerabilities. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, talk about that as well. They did release their video right here, which I'll drop a link into the description. This is a real long explanation of what's going on with Strive and all that. I also wanted to say, NKN, they said, amazing day. Congrats to the winners of the Dora Hacks, and glad to see the first and third prize winners using our 1-week-old NKN SDK, which I found was really interesting because I did an interview with NKN, which will probably be coming out tomorrow. And Bruce was talking about how, I believe it was only about 4 lines of code. I could be wrong, but it allows these people to build on top of it. And it was really cool because the biggest surprise was that a 9-year-old girl with her father shared the first prize for gun safety based on the NKN SDK. It's really awesome, guys. Just got to give a shout out to that. Definitely really cool. I'm really glad to see these types of things moving on. And I really think that people need to get more involved in crypto as well, whether it be hackathons, whatever. do whatever. Just community is very important. So getting into the news, guys, I don't really have too much to cover, but BitHum has recovered nearly half of the funds stolen in the last week's hack. That's pretty good news, guys. That's really all I have for news today, honestly. So the only thing I could say, though, is when you have a site like shillers.com, have we gone too far, guys? Have we gone too far? So before I go, I do want to say I took your guys' advice. I listened to you. I know you said you want to do some different things on the channel. So I will be interviewing the CEO of Fortuna Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm going to be doing it live because you guys requested it. I asked you about a week ago if you would like me to start doing some more live interviews. That way you guys can ask questions as well. And I think it would be really good for the community. That way it's not just me talking to somebody, but you also can have an opportunity to participate in the conversation as well. And also, I love you guys. You're awesome. I'm back. Yes, I will be doing videos every single day. I don't have any conferences lined up for a while. So I'm here. Let's talk. Let's do some live streams. Let's have some fun. Drop whatever's going on below. Let me know what I missed. Let me know what you want to hear. Yeah. So that's it, guys. So that being said, my name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.